Good morning. Welcome to Lotto Fridays. I figured I would share my cheat sheet just to start this session with everybody. So you're saying, what the hell is this on here? So it's the GEX levels for the SPY as we closed out yesterday. How is this a cheat sheet for today? I'm going to look at the same levels about an hour into the market. So understand what the levels mean. So let's take a look real carefully, okay? As the SPY closed yesterday at 442.60, the largest magnet, okay, which is drawing the SPY up to 443, and the largest, well, not the second largest line of support right here would be 441 or 442. So if I had to fathom a guess yesterday towards the market close, I'd be like, all right, well, we're going to close right in this area in between. So that's the cheat sheet. That's how you use it. You can use it for the Qs. You can use it for the SPY. But give it an hour and a half. It's going to tell you the number of open contracts, their expiration strike price, which is where the market is generally either drawn up to or drawn down to. So that's what I like to use throughout the day. It kind of tells me like, hey, I didn't know this level, and it'll tell you a level of calls opened up at 447 today or something to that extent. You'll be like, okay, well, the market's going to be drawn up to 447. So we've got quad witching today, which is really like triple witching because one of those derivatives hasn't been traded in like, 6-7 years. All right, with that said, let's get down to it. Let's see what's going to impact the market today. Okay, first off, let's remember chip sector that nobody wanted during the pandemic. Oh, everybody needs chips for cars. There aren't enough chips. However, the chip stocks were going down. Now everybody wants to be in chips. Chips are related to AI. If AI is growing, chips are going. So Micron decides it wants to inject $600 million into a Chinese chip making plant. Now, isn't that after Beijing implemented restrictions on Micron? So they told Micron that they're not going to be able to do certain things. Then Micron's like, okay, we're going to put $600 million into your economy. And China's like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. So flip-flop by China. What else do we have? Oh, here we go. Morgan Stanley. They're tricky Morgan Stanley. They moved their top pick to NVIDIA instead of AMD. At the same time, they reaffirmed their price target on NVIDIA to $500 from $450. Now, congratulations to Love. Hopefully, she's still holding those $500 calls that she was in so cheap and returning pretty amazing. Now, here's the thing. Now, when I look at NVIDIA and I hear someone throw a price target of 500 and it's over 100% over its 200-day moving average, and then I look at its forward PE, and let's just say even that they're talking about that $4 billion profit when they raised guidance from $7 billion to $11 billion, to me, that's still out like going out and buying a can of Coke for like $40. Who the hell wants to buy a can of Coke for $40? Certainly not me. So again, a lot of NVIDIA bulls out there. Me, I would rather watch on the sidelines. I'm assuming NVIDIA will have a drawback. Okay, here we go. Student loan repayment, right? That shit's about to start. As of September 30th, so we're talking about the end of the summer, it kicks back in August 30th. So your first payment's due September 30th, unless there's another, pause in student paybacks. But I'm pretty confident that whereas most of the retail economy can't afford to pay their credit card bills, where the heck are all these students or past students, right, going to start making payments again? Now, these payments might only be, a couple $100, but a couple $100 in a tough economy can really put some downward pressure. So that's pretty interesting. Okay, let's talk about Apple real quick. Apple is now worth more than the entire Russell 2000. The Russell 2000 is made up of 2,000 smaller cap stocks. Wow. One Apple company worth more than the entire Russell 2000. Apple also has a market cap worth more than the entire United Kingdom, UK, British economy. Okay, so I mean, just put things in perspective. It's just amazing. All right, here's another one. Google and Apple after hours yesterday. After Samsung and Apple and Google they're banning internal use of AI chatbots, including their own brand. So I got that from Benza Tech. It's pretty interesting. I have to read more into the story, but if Google and Apple and Samsung are banning internal use of AI chatbots, maybe there's some worry. I don't know. We'll figure that out. Okay, here we go. Ready? $2.2 trillion notional value of SPY and SPX contracts are set to expire today during the quarterly expiration. This will be the largest June OpEx expiration on record. So when I tell you to use my cheat sheet today, and if you're a part of our Discord, great. And if you're not, you can sign up by maybe this is a hopefully link. Anyway, so point is, what do I use? I use this cheat sheet. I'll wait about an hour and then I'll see where the largest 0 days till expiration option contracts have opened up. You know, if we see something spike down here in red, like 434, and all of a sudden I see a huge red 434, I'm like, okay, well, that's a huge magnet that just opened up. It could attract that. Now, I'm not saying we're going to see that. We could also see, you know, this spike up to 447, all of a sudden, where there's no volume here today, we could see it open. It could spike up here. And I'm like, okay, well, 447 could be in play today. Again, so it's just a cheat sheet I'm going to use. I haven't made any decisions. Here's an interesting fact about the market. I spoke about the Fed pausing interest rates on Wednesday with the announcement at 2 p.m. Market liked it, then the market tanked, right? And then the market got bought right back up because they continue to buy the dip. Understand the multi-trillions of dollars that are piling into the stock market. So even if a few people, maybe like myself, say, wow, the market should maybe go down, it doesn't matter. I don't control the trillions of dollars in the market. So you have to understand, you have someone like my ex-wife or my best friend who hasn't looked at their portfolios in over a year. Why? Because they're being managed by institutions. So when you're saying, okay, there's going to be a big sell-off, institutions aren't selling. All they're doing is rotating. So when we speak about rotating, man, we talked about Carnival Cruise Lines. We talked about United Airlines, Delta, up 12, 13%. But when it gets to Carnival, Carnival pops every day now, like 1.26%, 2.5%. There were days last week where they had 8% moves. So again, we have members on our Discord that in Carnival leaps, meaning they expire in January, and they're up like 250%, and they can just hold because their options aren't expiring. So if Carnival goes up to $24 in the next month, okay, another 50% gain, their leaps are going to be crushing it maybe 400 to 500%. All right, now here's the disconnect in the market. I mentioned the Fed not raising rates, saying July there'll probably be a rate hike. I think we're about 72% right now, chance of a 25 basis point rate hike. That's what the market has priced in. Fed funds rate are still not convinced about the second hike because they're no longer producing or anticipating a second hike this year, and they're no longer pricing in a rate cut this year. So that kind of cancels it out. So they're kind of coming out to an equilibrium or a balance. But let's remember, half the Fed's chair people want 2 more rate cuts. 3 people want 2 more rate hikes. 3 people want 3 more rate hikes. Okay. 1 individual wants 4 more rate hikes. We're not even talking about rate cuts. Okay. So again, there's still a disconnect. What could be helping out the market? The US dollar. As you see, the US dollar 102.16 yesterday, off big. No wonder the market was fading higher. The market was fading higher most of the day. Okay, here we go. Chinese officials considering issue $140 special bond to help local governments and spice up their economy. China also, where was that? Maintain their lending rate cut from 2.75 to 2.65, meaning they're basically injecting more stimulus into their economy. They're making it cheaper to invest, cheaper to borrow. Now, again, I just don't trust China. I mentioned that yesterday, but if you wanted to trust China, those Alibaba $95 calls that expired today were a pretty good lotto. Alibaba was what, $89, then it bounced to 92. It's probably going to open up at 93.80 or 94 this morning. Again, those options still out of the money, but you know, a hell of a play for those that like to take some lottos. Okay, so let's just talk about some stocks this morning and get right into it and talk about the SPY and potential rejection or support. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the dark pool level. Let's see what we got here. TR dark pool level SPY. I think it's levels with an S. Yes, thank goodness I got that right. Let's pull it up, make sure it's on the screen with us. All right, so here we go. We closed at 442.60, which is right above this dark pool level. So you might say, Matt, how do I find the next dark pool level up, and what's the sizing of it? Well, I can't tell you the sizing of it because it's not listed. But what I can tell you is simple math will get you to the next level up. We got 432.40, so we're adding $3.29 to this level to get to the next level. So $2.29. So add $2.29 here, or $3, right? $3, 438, add 29 cents. That'll take us to 97. right, at $3.29. So add $3.29, you're talking about 445 and 54. So let's just say $445.50. If I am a bull going into today and I'm saying the market's going to go higher, if I'm going to look for a point of rejection and the market's going higher and where I would take profit, again, your bull case scenario, I'm going to say 445.50. Maybe even a little higher, 446, I would expect it to reject. Let's do your bear case scenario. Your bear case scenario is, we'll go over it here and we see, okay, well, there's a smaller dark pool level. We don't get to a larger dark pool level to 435.68. So if I'm going to give a guess and say the market actually has a drawback, where would it draw back to? I would say 436. So if I was going to say potential range for today, on the downside, I'd be looking 435.68 or 436. On the high side, let's say 446 again. Now understand there is $2.5 trillion of notional options expiring today. So yeah, I expect some type of little pump in the morning, and then a dump in the afternoon, or a dump once people start securing value, their profit. So that's just what I'm considering or assuming today. When I look at certain stocks, and let's just get right into it. I mean, I'm a Google bear, meaning I'm expecting Google to go and test that 122, 121, 120 level again. Now, it's tough to be a Google bear when the freaking market just rips higher every freaking time. I look at it and I'm like, okay, well, Google's off, 0.8% pre-market or something like that. And then what do they do to futures? All futures rip higher. Apple, which was off 0.4% pre-market to match the Qs. Now the Qs are ripping and they've completely reversed course. Holy shit. And I don't know if that's true or not, but the SPY just went positive 0.26%. Now that can't be right because we're at 442.10. So that definitely is an error there. Let's just check it out. Let's just see where we're here. 442.10. Yeah, we're still negative this morning. I'm just Webull, whatever. I can't even complain about Webull right now or different sites. Russell just went positive again. Let's see if that's possible. A174. Yeah, that is positive by 0.17%. The Qs are positive by 0.4%. So everything's ripping this morning. I already mentioned NVIDIA price target increase or maintaining at 500. Apple just turned green pre-market. I mean, what are they doing? They're buying up the Qs. Do I necessarily agree with it? I still think that liquidity should be leaving the market. What have I been looking into or what I enter into? I still have my Coinbase July options that go out to the third week of July. I'm in puts. I'm expecting Coinbase to actually go down. Again, there's been very little volume past couple of days. BlackRock came out and they applied for a Bitcoin ETF that they are creating. With that said, BlackRock said that they will hold all of their Bitcoin that they purchased for their Bitcoin ETF within Coinbase, which gave Coinbase a 2% spike. Let's just see where it's up. It's still up a little over 2%. It was up 2.5%. What does that mean for me? Well, since I am a bear when it comes to Coinbase, okay, I still think Coinbase is going to get levied by a bunch of fines. That means whenever I can get $55.80 to re-enter some more puts dated out for the third week in July, giving myself more than enough time, I'm just going to keep adding to that position. When will I secure profit? When Coinbase tanks and we see it at $49 one day or $48. I mean, I actually thought Coinbase, if the fines get levied, could go out and be like a $35, $36 stock. But again, I would gladly take profit, and I've been entering at $54.80. I entered at $55.25. I entered at $53.98. So I'm just acquiring a position. Great, as it fluctuates between 56 and 54. No harm, no foul. I'm green, then I'm red, then I'm green, then I'm red. When I go to red and I see Coinbase spiking to like $54.80 this morning. If it's at open and I get in and I see Coinbase reject at $55, I'm just going to keep adding to that put position. I still think Coinbase is going to go down. You can earn, what do we got? You can earn $20 on Coinbase for free right now. Yeah. Okay. I mean, get that $20, I guess. Every little bit counts. However, I'm still a Coinbase bear. I could be bullish with other stuff. I've been bullish for the airlines. I've been bullish for FCX. I've been bullish for Carnival and a couple of the other, Dow plays. I will tell you where I am bearish. I am bearish energy. I don't care. Man, they're talking about China reopening and all this shit. China is throwing everything but the kitchen sink at their economy. They're throwing stimulus. They're lowering rates. They're bringing in outside investments, which they said they weren't going to do from U.S. companies, but they're doing it. $600 million coming from Micron to open up a chip factory in China, okay? So, yeah, I mean, if I had to be bullish something, I could be continuation bullish Meta. I would be bearish coin. Netflix, geez, I don't even want to touch Netflix because Netflix could easily pull back to the 420 range. But you could also see Netflix at 470. I mentioned FCX. That could pop to like $42, $43. Then I'd be getting the hell out of there. I'll stay away from Oracle. Google, again, I'm still a Google bear for the time being. Disney can't seem to push past like $93, $94, and when it retracts, it goes back to $89. Why is my screen moving on its own? Jesus, look, my screen is moving. I'm not even touching it. It literally has a mind of its own sometimes. My screen decides it wants me to look at certain stocks, and I don't even do this shit. Anyway, okay, sorry. Let's get rid of that. That's really freaking me out. It's like sometimes it stops. Like the other day, it stopped on Carvana, and Carvana was down, and I was like, is it now it just went to Walmart and it's telling me that they're just selling into Walmart. So, I mean, sometimes, I'm not sure why this happens, but I'll note it. And then I'll look at Walmart and I'll be like, okay, phone. Look, Walmart has how many straight buying days of inflow? I mean, do you guys not see this when even like a simpleton investor, and let's just make it basic, when you're seeing red, that's outflow. Green is inflow. Inflow means you're paying the ask. Outflow means you're selling at the bid. Well, shit, there was a big flip around 528. And then what have we seen? You've seen every straight day Walmart's going up. So we're at 145, we're at 157. You're talking about 3% for like a mainstay Dow stock. So, yeah, I mean, that's on my tracker. If they keep on to buy Walmart and Carnival and United and material plays, FCX, even though gold and steel are coming back a little, if they're buying FCX, Cleveland Cliffs, U.S. Steel, then yeah, I know that they want to continue to buy the economy. I mean, we can talk about NEO, right? NEO earnings were complete shit for NEO. It was terrible for NEO, but the Chinese government is putting money into their economy. So you're seeing Chinese stocks rip higher. NEO was $7.56 this morning. It's probably over $10, right? $10.16. It's popping again this morning, up almost 4%. So again, although I don't like Chinese stocks, I almost took a shot with BABA yesterday when BABA was under $90. And I was like, I just hate Chinese stocks. And I'm the kind of guy that I will go into a play. It works for everybody else. If I go into BABA, all of a sudden BABA just throws up on itself. Okay, my phone is still playing games. I've got no clue what's going on. So we'll just take a look at some other stocks. Space. Remember SPCE, which is what? SPCE, which is Virgin, right? Virgin Galactic. They finally mentioned they're going to put someone up commercial flights at the end of June. So at the end of this month, where is Space? Oh, shit, up 42% this morning. Could it squeeze harder? Sure. I mean, it was squeezing yesterday. It was squeezing since they sold off on May 24th. So we're about 2 weeks, $3.40. You're going to be $5.80, $3.40 to $5.80. That's like a 77% move. So, yeah, I mean, there are companies that can squeeze a little harder. Carvana, Space. Let me just see what else I have down here. I guess NEO is part of that. Remember, I was in Uber looking for Uber to hit $40. Well, Uber hit $40. It's like at $43 and change this morning. So again, I wish I held some of my options a week longer because that would be somewhat special on some of my thing. Starbucks at 97. We mentioned the buying and Starbucks was turning around. You can see all that green inflow. Well, Starbucks finally popped to 101. Not a major move, but you're talking about 4% from where it was great entry. I mean, oh, okay. Yesterday, what did I mention pre-market? Shopify, right? And I said, if you want to be a Shopify bear and you think tech is going to draw back yesterday, Shopify could go to $64 flat, okay? If you want to be a Shopify bull yesterday, I mentioned it could go to $66.50. The high yesterday was $66.34. And when you look at Shopify this morning, it's going to open at $67, okay? So remember, my top end was $66.50 on a Shopify bullish move, and you're going to get a little better than that. Again, here's the Shopify chart for yesterday. You're buying at that morning dip, and it goes up. Again, I'm not saying I'm a bull, but they just continue to buy the dips. Yeah, someone meant A-Rod. What's up, dude? Yeah, Nikola, right? Nikola, I wonder, is Fisker still around, FSR? And I'll look at Nikola in 1 second. Fisker, I'm just wondering if it's seeing the same pop that everything else is. Again, not as much as Neo, but like when they're buying the shit out of Tesla. Again, let's look at Nikola now because that was asked. So NK, Jesus, this phone doesn't want to work. NKLA. I mean, it's telling me like, hey, dude. See, actually, it came up and it says no. So it doesn't want me to look at Nikola. It was like no Nikola. But I'm going to do it anyway for you because I'm damn curious. And I thought it was like $1.60. Okay, yeah, $1.63. Okay, so if you look at the 5-day chart again, squeezing. Does that mean Nikola is worth anything? Its market cap is now $1 billion. So I guess when it was at 68 cents, making it what, $510 million, people decided that's too undervalued. So it's the same with Carvana. Carvana had a market cap of $3 billion. All the way down. Remember, we were talking about Carvana last year when it was like $52. I'm like, who's to say it's not a $13 stock? Well, it wasn't a $13 stock. It was a $2 stock or $3 stock. And then, of course, it ripped higher. So, yeah, looking at Nikola, I mean, the volume keeps increasing as long as you get a day of over, I don't even know where the volume was yesterday. I guess it was 5 million, which doesn't even seem like a lot because if you're talking about a volume of 5 million and a price of $1.40, that means $7 million trade. I guess that's pre-market. Maybe they're at 5 million this morning. With the volume yesterday, you must have seen like over 100 million, which makes more sense. But again, $1.40 per share, 100 million. You're talking about $140 million. If somebody, an investment firm, somebody with large money puts in $14 million, they're combining. They're basically pushing the stock up. So that could be a squeeze right there. Have to look at the short interest. I mean, you've got some major walls of support of 105,000, 59,000. So, I mean, that's an interesting play. I don't really like penny stocks. They're a little too volatile for me, especially since you have a bad day in the market. I guess it spiked from earnings. All right, whatever. Everybody, thank you so much. Follow on the platform. Oh, Intel. Yes, I heard Intel was making a deal to put some investment into India. I also heard Intel was looking to put $4 to $5 billion into ARM, which is the SoftBank new investment portfolio they're creating. Let me just tell you, SoftBank investments are terrible. Okay, each one of their funds, they're the ones that gave WeWork. Remember WeWork? They gave them like $9 billion off a conversation, and I think they invested more money. So I stand clear of that. Anything SoftBank related. So Intel wants to be involved with SoftBank. Not me. It'll probably push Intel to the teens. But that's it. You could always play puts on Intel, calls on NVIDIA, calls on AMD, calls on Micron. I mean, you could just throw a dart these days, any stock in the market. It doesn't really take that much trading. What are people doing? They're buying the dip. When will they stop buying the dip? When it stops working. If it's working, then they continue to buy the dip. All right. I appreciate everybody hanging out with me this morning. I'm going to head over to Discord. We're going to look at the top flows from yesterday, see if we can figure out a position or two to look at today. And good luck. Remember, everybody, it's quad witching, which is really triple witching, but have a careful, safe, secure profit kind of day.